Portugal's Alive is a jewel in global music festival crown. For years now, has been advocating for concert tourism. A live show, be it a one-off concert from your favorite band or a festival that introduces you to a country's musical perspective, is a wonderful peg for leaving your comfort zone and seeing the world. While this decade has had a couple unfortunate years that prevented such activities, you don't have to go farther than Instagram to see that this is becoming a major thing, thanks in large part to Swift's jaunts across and now for. It seems that people I know from all walks of life are pegging travels to see her in far-off locations and having the time of their lives in the process. Over the past weekend, music fans had the opportunity for this kind of experience just outside of Lisbon, Portugal, as the gorgeous waterfront locale hosted their annual festival. Since debuting in 2007, the festival has hosted some of the biggest artists on the planet, ranging from Coldplay to Weeknd to Metallica. This year, the festival, which takes place on the Algés riverside, featured headliners Dua Lipa, Arcade Fire, and Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam actually headlined the very first edition of the festivals, as did one of the Weeknd's sub-headliners, the Smashing Pumpkins. Below the top line was a rich mix of both regional and international artists, including the country's most popular local artist in terms of Spotify streams, Parks, past cover artists Ashiko and Weeknd, Black Pumas, Kenya Grace, and many more. It was an eclectic mix that underscored the festival's evolution to embrace a wide variety of genres while still remaining rooted in its rock roots. Beside the music, one of the coolest things was a particular aspect of the festival where you could roam down temporary buildings made to look like Lisbon's iconic colorful and tiled architecture. The buildings hosted branded activations, food vendors, and at the end of a cafe that featured sets of the traditional Portuguese music style of the same name. It was a way to incorporate hyper-local flavor into a global event, and one that would be amazing to see more festivals attempt. It was little details like this set Alive apart from its peers. Fans, noting that longtime keyboardist Wim Gaspar's family originated from the country and underscoring that it was the final show from their European support of their recent Dark Matter album, a tour that had a truly scary moment as an illness spread through their camp and forced them to cancel several dates. It has to be noted that during their set, news of the attempted assassination of American presidential candidate Donald Trump spread throughout the crowd. It doesn't appear that Vedder's encore solo performance of John Lennon's Imagine, which was prefaced by a message about the hope for healing and unity with upcoming American elections, was a reaction to this, but it still felt strangely coincidental for the moment and all the more impactful. Elsewhere, the band delivered a load of fan favorites were standouts while giving a healthy dose of recent material. They don't quite play as long as they used to, and I personally think they could have folded in a little less of 10 and a little more of their other beloved work. But Pearl Jam are still one of the great bands of our time, and the crowd ate up every second. For her part, Dua Lipa also drew a massive audience, virtually as large as Pearl Jam's. Supporting her recent Radical Optimism album, the Albanian pop force proved ideal for the festival environment. She has just enough massive hits that it never felt too long before hearing a song that was deeply known, while her dance moves and stage presence were charming and evocative, showing no real weakness in her stadium-sized presentation. The most interesting thing to note is how she didn't lean heavily on the new material, opting only to perform a handful of tracks from the new album. It is unclear if this is a reaction to the tepid reception for the album or the reality of playing in a festival setting where people want to hear the hits. But it was absolutely the right choice, though the best recent songs sounded perfectly in place with her modern classics. When she eventually makes her way to America for arena and festival headlining performances, fans are going to be blown away. Speaking of knowing how to craft a setlist, headlining Set On was about as ideal as could be imagined. Only one song each were performed from their most recent albums, respectively, while they opened their performance with 4 straight songs from their 2004 classic debut Funeral.